We all have our heroes in Speedway regardless of the team we support. But we often forget about those unsung heroes who, were it not for them, we would not see a lap raced. One such figure was Ken Wrench, whose dulcet tones kept the fans informed over the tannoy at Bellevue for an incredible 41 years at Hyde Road, Bellevue Stadium and the National Speedway Stadium. Here at the Speedway Tavern, we send our condolences to Ken's family and friends following his recent passing. Rest in peace, Ken. Only in Speedway.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
You ready?
Not quite.
Hey, put your headphones on and you might hear what we're talking about.
A bit of a late start for me today. I'll have to give Chris a number in a minute. Yeah. So, how's everybody?
All good.
We're good, yeah.
Let's get it out of the way. I didn't go to the Leicester match, Birmingham against Leicester. I watched it from Greece.
Very nice.
Did you watch all of it?
I got as far as heat 12. I understand that was the last heat anyway.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear. You was there, I presume?
I was there, yes.
Getting wet?
Getting wet, yeah. I was on the centre green for some of the races as well, just as the second load of rain came wafting in.
So it was your fault. Okay.
Now I wouldn't go that far, but
the weather anyway.
No, it was a really poor performance again. Just seems to be Groundhog Day for Birmingham, doesn't it? You know, people saying need to get that first win soon. We've been in this situation for the last 3 seasons, haven't we? And it's frustrating. I mean, the gating again. You know, when we talked about the Birmingham riders gating in the Oxford meeting, it was as bad, if not worse, really, against Leicester. Full credit to Leicester; it was a professional performance from them.
Absolutely, yeah, you've got to say that.
But for Birmingham, a lot of questions being asked at the moment of whether this team is strong enough and whether there might be changes in the offing at some point.
But who? I mean,
the obvious name, of course, that springs to mind is Nikolai Clint, because of course he's just lost his place at Oxford. So
you've got to ask yourself this question: why has he lost his place at Oxford?
That's a very good point, isn't it? He had no.
I may or may not know some inside information on that I can't divulge, but let me just say this: I don't think Nikolai Clint would be the answer.
No.
So there is nobody else.
Unless it's taking gambles on the newcomer, but then you're really sort of chancing your arm, aren't you? Because if it doesn't pay off, then you've got a real problem. But no, it's I think Birmingham have got to, as I say, could play the same show from 3 seasons ago. Couldn't we? Birmingham needs to get a win soon. It's got to happen pretty quickly. Because
would be really nice for it to be the next one, wouldn't it?
It would be, yeah. It's going to be a tough ask on Thursday down at or over at Leicester. But I mean, obviously, the next home match that is Bellevue, and Bellevue, of course, have had a good start to the season at home. Away from home, though, they've been a little bit patchy so far. So maybe there's an opportunity for that one, and of course, it is on the telly as well. So,
yep. I'm still hopeful. I did see some things. I mean, in that match, as I was drinking my Bacardi and Coke in 27 degrees of sunshine. Sorry.
Shut up.
I thought Peter Pavlic looked fast.
He did look fast, yeah. He's got to get used to the track, hasn't he? You know, it's we had a check on this, and we weren't sure whether Pavlic had ridden at Perry Bar, but he has once.
He has once, yes.
Right for us there. I think he got about 9, 10, 11 points or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but it's a long time since, that's 10 years ago.
And the track's not the same as it was then.
Yeah, so he's got to get used to the track. I thought Tom Brennan again has been steady so far in the 3 seasons.
What?
3 seasons, 3 or 4 matches that we've seen at Birmingham so far this season. But a lot of riders really have got to try and step up to the plate, haven't they?
Yeah.
Steve Worrell hasn't had a great start to the season. Okay, he's riding as a heat leader in the Birmingham team, which he wasn't obviously for Wolves last season.
I personally think he should be riding at number 2.
Yeah,
that's where he made his name.
Yeah,
in this, but that's maybe we can ask Sam that question when he comes on. For those that don't know, we have ex-world champion, ex-1993 world champion Sam Ermolenko, and although we will talk about Birmingham, I think we'll also talk about his career and all the things that he's achieved prior
Yeah, of course.
He does have some impressive honours, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Done my research.
Well done. Back time.
Crikey.
You okay, Chris?
Once a year,
Anyway, so yeah, I would like to see some. So a bit of insider information, I suppose, but I'd like to see a little bit more dirt on the.
It's been slick, hasn't it? And
we know why it's been slick.
When you've got a team that's struggling to get out the gates, the last thing you want is a slick track.
It's because of the weather.
Absolutely,
but that team needs needs something to work with.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, I don't know whether it was as obvious to you at the track, but to me, watching it on the tally, you could see them gaining momentum around Ben's 3, going around the outside of Ben's 3 and 4, and then losing it again.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing on Ben's 1 and 2.
There.
So, but I was working at the track the weekend, and we did dumped a load of shale on that track the weekend. So watch this space. So okay.
Shall I just say a quick hello
yes,
to
please
people?
do.
Hello, Simon, Jeff, Pete, Fred, Reginald, Dave, Brian, Andrew. Busy.
So there's a few questions coming up on the shout box. We will try and get round to them, but I think what we want to do really is get Sam on as quick as we can.
Okay,
so if you want to go and give him a quick call.
Okay.
So I think we've got to look forward.
They've got to look forward and try and stay hopeful that something will turn Birmingham's fortunes around.
I mean, Tom Brennan started really well.
Yeah.
We know Leon Flint can ride much better than he's been producing. I mean, his first match was outstanding.
Yeah.
But they've got nothing to work with at the moment. They do need to get some dirt on, and I think they've got a chance their arm. If they think it's going to rain, still put the dirt on. If it's rained off, it's rained off. That's my own personal opinion anyway. Craig Smith says, evening all. First one I'm turning in tonight. What do we think's going on at Kings Lynn? Calling it off from inclement weather, but apparently no rain. I understand they had stock cars over the weekend, which might have ruined the track when it was raining. I think he possibly answered his own question.
At least the gate wasn't broken this time, was it? So.
Yeah.
Could you just give me that number again?
Oh, gosh. Okay, hold on a second.
This is top-class professionalism, isn't it?
It's come up as spam.
Yeah, there. There it is. Okay.
It's not a porn one, is it?
No. I didn't realise until I did my research today that Sam's first name isn't Sam.
It isn't that.
It's Guy.
Guy Allen Ermolenko is his full name
So we might ask him about that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it was Barry Briggs that might have given him that.
His first, I think it was. That's where I was. That's what I was reading. And also Barry Briggs gave him his first nickname, which was going to be not Southern Stam, the Red Russian.
The Red Russian, because of his surname. So
yeah, but I believe he didn't like it. There we go. So what else has been happening around the tracks?
Well, we've had a couple of Australian riders, of course, who've missed flights, haven't they? In the form of Rowan Tungate and Jason Doyle, of course, who missed last night's fixture.
Rowan Tungate got a fine, but Jason Doyle didn't.
Yeah, the statement has been released. Again, good to see that the statement's been released pretty quickly. Having received documentation from the airline that Mr. Doyle was scheduled to be on the flight, had technical issues and was unable to fly, the Ipswich promotion, as well as Mr. Doyle, tried to make alternative arrangements to get back to the UK. Due to the plane having no technical issues at the scheduled time of departure, there were no other flights available for Mr. Doyle to board that would get him into the UK for him on time to get to Bellevue. Unfortunately, Ipswich's only option was to use the no facility regulation. However, for Mr. Doyle, as this issue was out of his control, there will be no further penalty. Speedo Control Bureau will be making no further comments.
Slightly different to what happened to Rowan.
Just a bit, yeah. We'll get on to that. I think.
I think we have. Fingers crossed. So hopefully we have a fantastic guest on today. Sam, are you there, mate?
I'm here. Yes.
Fantastic.
No,
it's all working. First thing. Thanks so much for coming on tonight. I know you're really busy at the moment, so really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
No worries.
The next voice you're going to hear will be Matt, and off we go, Matt.
Yep, great to be talking to a Wolverhampton legend and a guy that I saw watch so many times, Sam, over the years. But let's.
So I take it that's Chris talking now, right?
No, this is Matt.
This is Matt.
All right, there's Matt, and is Chris involved as well?
Yes, Chris on the lynch.
Here's the producer.
There you go. Now,
the main
There we go.
person.
I'm hearing
Sorry,
it all.
says.
Okay, there you go. What Matt's not telling you is he's been a Wolverhampton fan for how long?
33 years.
There you go.
33 years, yeah.
There we go. There we go.
But let's go on. Let's really talk about the present to start with, Sam. It's not been, in terms of results, not been a great start for Birmingham. On top of 3 pretty disappointing seasons for the club in terms of results. So pressure really to get it turned around, I suppose, is the question really, Sam.
Well, I wouldn't say it's pressure. I think reality really is what we should be looking at. We're looking at a club that's come up with not a lot of experience into the Premiership, which were granted a spot in it at the 11th hour. I think every other club had their roadmap mapped out already when they invited Birmingham in and muscled their way in front of Birmingham without any choices of many selections left. To be fair,
Yeah, I mean,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But really, from the first 3-4 matches that you've had so far, I think probably as an outsider looking into it, I think the biggest concern at the moment has probably been certainly at home, has been the gating. Although, I think there's been obviously mitigating circumstances. The track's obviously had to be prepared really because of the weather. So you're hoping really that can sort of get that sorted out, and maybe the gating can be better, and
Sorry.
You just knocked me out of the foot there, Chris.
My fault, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so the gating is the big concern.
I think if you're looking from the outside in, the easiest thing to do is to blame it on the gating, and there's no doubt about it. If we were gating better, we wouldn't be in this position because we'd probably be in front. But the facts are there, and as I was enrolled into the position, knowing that, what I was dealing with when it comes to what we had as a team, I think that we've done pretty damn good. It's just unfortunately, you mentioned one thing about the weather. Yeah, the weather played its part. You can make excuses if you want to. I'm not into excuses. I'm into trying to figure out how we go forward. And on the forward side of things, we got some positive side. This Thursday coming up at Leicester, we'll have our team for the first time. Our 7 that were supposed to be in front of me when I got here on the first day of being a part of this team. It took me and even the team and the teammates to figure out what level they were going to be, knowing that get to heat 13 to 15 against the other teams were going to be very difficult. But how do we muster up miracles? Probably not going to be able to do that the way it looks. But, when you're on your back foot from the word go, not having Pietro Pavlitsky coming in on the team, which was going to be outright number 1, when you look at the lineup we had, we were missing him from the word go. We had Scotty Nichols in for us on that absence of Pietro, which gave us some kind of consistency. At least somebody was scoring points. And that meant that, there was a flavor of hope, but, there was links all the way through it that were letting us down. And each one of those open links that weren't performing, there's a story behind it. And my job, I think, is kind of naturally worked out that why. The thing now is, how do we move it forward? I don't want to give up on that team because I've seen brightness from each and every one of the riders. It's now a matter of, we got a full 7 riders in front of us now that, okay, let's pretend this is the start of our season, even though we got our challenges because Leicester's going to feel pretty damn confident beating us at home, and we're going to their track. And then you got, a very competitive team under the guidance of Mark Lemon coming to us. And they're going to be thinking they're going to be looking at the stats that they're going to have an easy pushover over us. But I'm still not finished with this 7 riders, and I think there's a lot of hope there. It's just unfortunately that, all the things that's been piled against us, and weather's probably a bit of it. And the other thing is maybe the inexperience of management for myself as well. I'm not saying that I made mistakes, or I'm not saying we're making mistakes. It's just that we're overlooking the obvious. When you look back at it, hindsight's a great thing. But I think we're okay. It'd be nice just to go out there and race, and each and every one of the riders want to perform. It's just unfortunately mechanical failures. There's been a story behind everything that's gone wrong.
Piotr Pawlicki, I think there was a lot of promise from Piotr on last Monday, Sam, because it's been a long time since he's last ridden at Birmingham. First time he's really seen the track for I think 10 years. But I think once he's managed to get himself dialed in, I think he will be pretty potent in the Birmingham side.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He proved to me he's a professional and he understands racing. And it was a breath of fresh air being able to work with him, even if it was just for the day. He listened, ears was wide open, eyes were wide open. He was paying attention to everything, and he adapted quite well and understanding the circumstances. He was the one that was bending the bike pretty damn sharp in the corners, which, you think the guys from the continent might struggle to turn the bike. He had no problems at all doing that. He was probably the first one out of our 7 riders that proved to me that he's actually a contender to win big races.
That's nice to hear, I guess. Yeah,
absolutely.
We've got a couple of comments coming up on our shout box. So I'm just going to try and get through a few of them, Sam, and then I think we should talk. Let's stop talking about Birmingham and start talking about Sam's career a little bit more.
Don't do that. Everybody knows me.
That's probably true as well. So Craig says, I've watched a couple of Birmingham meetings this season on stream, and they've been very competitive for most meetings I've seen and have good racers in the team, but then seem to fall away a bit towards the end of the meeting. It's a tough league this year. All teams are very strong, and every rider has to be on it from the get-go if you're going to get results. Look at Bellevue last night, great at home against Ipswich, but dreadful away last week at Leicester.
Yeah. And sometimes it's got to be the surprise of the attack. I think me being involved in a manager's role, I was hoping to be able to make sure that the riders can recognize things from my experience, which are maybe, the away team might not know something that we know. And if we focus on the things we know, or the surprise, and we got away with that for the first few meetings. I think we did. And I think the statement of that is true. Come heat 13 and 15, we're not strong compared to most of the other teams. And if we can get ourselves in front, which we did against Sheffield when they came to us, we pushed because we got that leads right from the word go. We were getting the 5-1s and getting heat advantages till we got ourselves to where we had a little bit of a cushion where Sheffield were able to attack with their big headers and then come down to an equal scoring at the end. And, we came back at Oxford for our first match because we had no experience on most of our riders didn't have much track time, and nor did Oxford, but we had our eyes focused and we knew what we wanted to do. And unfortunately, we couldn't seal the deal at the right time. All right. I'm still learning riders. And when they tell me in the pits that they're going to do something, I got to believe in them and give them that chance. And if I was sitting there and I thought, I had a mechanical problem I raced before and I got that sorted now, I'm ready. And my team manager came up to me and said, hey, what are you going to do now? And then I said, look, I got it done now. I'm ready. You got to give them that chance. And, that's a learning curve for myself. But as far as, as the racing continued, and we were lucky not to go to Kings Lane for the weather side of it, because I don't know how we would have done there exactly. But the way the form was going, maybe not so good. But then again, Kings Lynn's had a bad run, so that's again the surprise that you hope that you can take advantage of. And we didn't have that opportunity at that time, and then we were faced with bringing Leicester to our club, thinking they had a bad run, but we were fighting the weather and the track conditions. From the rider's point of view, from day one, have been deteriorating until we got to Leicester. When I say deteriorating, meaning it was changing the way they didn't want it to change,
right.
And that was down to the weather. The track staff had to make decisions, and the owner of the stadium, or the owner of the promotion, Nigel, he had to make a decision on whether he wanted to run with the weather being so bad or not. His inexperience chose to run. We might have been better off just saying, knock this one on the head because the forecast doesn't look good, and just build off the back of that, give us that little bit more time maybe. But these are learning curves for
Sure.
all sides. And, to me, I think it's exciting as hell because I got some definitely good racers on our – they proved to me the first couple of matches, these guys have the ingredients. Just how do I keep them consistent? That's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, one of the things I would say as an out-and-out Birmingham supporter myself, that there is a difference between what we was watching last season and what we're watching this season, which is that even though they're not making the gate, you don't see riders giving up. That you can see the effort there, and as a supporter, that's really
good.
Important. Yeah.
Some of the riders on the team, and would like to think that they might want the track a little bit grippier in places, and some might want this. So we were trying to find, for some reason, from day one, when we got on that track after they worked really hard over the wintertime to make a really nice, smooth racetrack, there was actually, it was slick, but there was actually some bite in that track. Yeah. And the riders got a little content with that. And it never found that again. Right. And so now we now got to try to get the track creators to be able to put some dirt get some grip into that track. And unfortunately, I'm just reflecting on what's happened. Yeah. The weather's not been in our favor to do it. I mean, I went to the track on Sunday and was working with the track staff trying to come up with a combination that might work. But then again, you put some grip on that track, and who we facing next at home, it might help them. So, we gotta find this balance, and nobody knows the magic until we try it a couple times. And that's how I see it. And I'm glad that you're saying that it's been the fight on the track's better than it has been in the past. But this is another level now. We're in the top league, and we gotta be really focused on balancing our team to be able to fight. I mean, I think our 7 riders we got could prevail and actually do some damage, especially with Pietro coming in. But where do I fill the gaps? I mean, Stephen Worrell, our captain, had a couple of bad races, but he didn't recognize that until he changed his bike, and then it was going, and then now the rain's there and it's too late, So there's so many different things that are facing me, and unless I was right on top of these guys on the mechanical side of things on a daily basis, it'd be difficult for me to actually comment because I have to work with them on the day. Yeah.
One last question about, I promise this is the last one about Birmingham. Are you enjoying it?
I'm passionate about it.
That certainly comes across. Yeah.
And I'm trying to get into that relationship with my riders that I had when I was a racer. And, I'm going to enjoy it more when these guys believe in me and I can figure them out individually. But right now, I'm extremely enjoying it because it's a challenge. Look, we're on our back foot. How do you pull through this? We got the first television match. we're working behind the scenes. That I'm telling you a little bit about what's going on, but we're excited as a team.
Mm-hmm.
I really that little bit at the beginning, the first two matches we had, told me a story, and individually I can pick the riders, and I can name them now. It'd be unfair for me to name them.
Mm-hmm.
On this program right now, because some of these guys have had bad meetings too, but the good points were positive, and I thought, damn, if I can get that out of every one of them all the time, we have a chance.
Yeah,
and that's what I want. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So let's go back to Mr. Sam Ermolenko, Guy Ermolenko, I believe.
That's me.
Yep.
Yes, it is Guy.
Born in 1960. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. I'll be 64 sometime this year. I'm getting old now. I'm one of those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. You moved to the UK at the age of 23, I believe, in 1983, to ride for the Poole Pirates. What was that culture shock like for you when you came over in 1983?
I'll try to remember it, but I do know that it was a damp. It was September time when I came over,
mm-hmm.
and I did get picked up by the promoter, which was Brian Maidment, which is passed now, which is was a truly good friend of mine through his whole life. He basically was a very soft-spoken man, and picked me up, brought me to my accommodations at the time, and honored his agreement with me. And I thought, wow. This is, just to give you a little bit more background, I didn't know what Speedway really was in my racing career. I didn't know that there was an international scene. I didn't know there was world championships. There's a lot of things I didn't really know about. Not for any other reason that, if people don't know, but from 16 years until I was 19, I was in and out of hospitals for a lot of times, where that was probably the time of my life where I probably would have absorbed being a fan of football or American football or basketball or something,
mm-hmm.
where I would understand there's titles to be won. I mean, that never really crossed my mind. I didn't really know. I was just doing it for fun, mm-hmm. and I was doing it to prove myself that I was capable of being physically okay, because I was injured pretty bad. And then when I came over here, it was another experience. I was married. I had 2 kids. I had to think about, making a living for them. And I was doing that in California. To come over here was a big, big call to give up what I had. But because Brian Maidment and the promotion at Poole believed that, if I was to follow the footsteps of other Americans,
mm-hmm.
there might be something in me that might, I didn't see it. They seen it. I didn't even understand, later on, 10 years down the road or whatever, I got into the world championships and stuff like that. But I did not know that then. They seen it. And I just came over here and they believed in me and honored a contract that we had. And I had that experience, and then came back in 84 and had a full season of British League, which opened my eyes a bit.
And then, of course, in 1989, I think it was. No, I think I've got that wrong. But somewhere around about that time, you moved over to Wolverhampton, and you spent the majority of your career at Wolverhampton.
86,
yeah,
it was.
86, thank you.
Yeah, and the story behind that was Poole had a bit of a bust-up between their owners, which was Brian Maidment and Reg Spearman. And at the end of that 84 season, I thought I was coming back in 85, 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I was notified when they kind of knew that it was going downhill, that they weren't going to be racing in 85. And I thought, well, okay, well, that was short-lived. And I didn't take it. I mean, I didn't even think about, oh, my God, well, what am I going to do? I just went back to California and started my life again, and thought about, wow, that was fun. But I also knew that there was a trail to get back over to Europe if you were to qualify through the American Championship to come back here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So my natural ability put me in the point standing where I actually qualified And next thing you know, I was coming over here for an overseas championship, and then an intercontinental final championship, and then I'm in the world final. So it was like business as normal.
And I mean,
it wasn't until '86 that I came to Wolverhampton, as was just said. Yeah.
and I mean, you look back now on, of course, I mean, you finished third in the '85 final, Sam, at Bradford, which was a bit of a shock. But I mean, how much do you ever look back now on that race with Kai Niemi and think, what if? Because you were definitely capable of beating him in that race, Sam.
Yeah, but the thing of it is I didn't understand he had a broken leg. I didn't know the history of him. I had this own program in my head. If I make the start, go like hell. If I get second, stay in second because, it's better than third. If I get the third, push. Push hard. And if I'm in fourth, freaking let it all out, whatever that takes. That was my mentality of that approach to that meeting. But I was getting first and then seconds. So with Kai, I was second. Why? I don't know how, it was early on in the point scoring. Second's better than third, isn't it? That's how I looked at it. Mm-hmm. So I was a newcomer. Yeah, sure. Looking back at it, I was closer than the other two when it come down to your heat by heat point scoring. But hell, I didn't know that. I didn't even understand that there was a green light go whenever you're on the inside gate. I didn't understand that. And I was told before that started in the runoff, Sam, have you seen the green light dump the clutch? I was thinking, yeah, whatever. I seen the green light, turned to look at the tapes, and they're already gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that advice I didn't even take because I didn't have that practice.
And then, of course, joining Wolves in '86. How much of an influence do you think Peter Adams was on your career, Sam? Because, from hearing interviews that you've done before, I mean, you obviously weren't aware of Pete's history, but of course Pete started telling you about, working with Ollie Olsen, Bruce Pennell, Eric Gunnarsson. Did something then click as to say, this man could help me win the World Championship?
He preached that to me when he called me to join his team in '86. I didn't know who Eric Gunnarsson was or freaking Ollie Olsen was or any of those guys. I just knew that he says, I can help you. And my passion, you got to understand, I didn't have that desire. I didn't understand that desire to do that. I was more like, wow, so I'm making money out of racing motorbikes? Hell, this is cool. Come on, wife, kids, let's go over here and try this for a while. We can afford to do this, can't we? And we came over here and I started my career with Wolverhampton, and then kind of at the beginning or the middle of or the quarter way through that or a third of the way of that, Peter Adams disappeared because he had some other personal issues they had to deal with, and Wolverhampton was going to collapse. And all of a sudden, I think I was one of the senior performers for Wolverhampton, and all of the things that were promised to me financially and stuff just had a big freaking noose around its neck and stopped. And I had to think, wow, I guess we're going to go home, or, we're done. But then the consortium that came together to kind of keep Wolverhampton living reapproached me and said, look, you know what, Sam, you need to think about this for the team if you can. And I'm thinking, well, why? But they said to me, if we can reduce your contract to a point where we can afford it as a consortium, we as a consortium will float the rest of the year and see what happens for the next year. And I agreed to it. And I agreed to it not because any other reason that if somebody asked me for help, I would listen to why and say, yeah, sure, why not? I can do that. I wasn't starving. My family wasn't starving. We were okay. So we agreed to go along with it. And then in '87, that consortium then came down and narrowed itself up a little bit. And at the end, it was Chris Van Straten that was the leader of that. And they honored everything they said they would do if I could help them get through '86, and brought it all back to me in '87. And we never had a bad point in our relationships from that point on.
And of course, it was all going so well until '89, of course, when you had that horrendous long track crash in West Germany, as it was there. I think it was Herxheim, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
I think, as far as I'm aware, Sam, you've still never ever seen footage of that crash, have you?
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, I don't know what happened, and not that I'm searching for it or anything like that. I just know that, I was ambitious. The trend was then, if you want to be world champion, you do this. If you want to be double world champion, you do that. And I thought, all right, just follow what these guys are doing. I'm a motorcyclist. I'll get on the bike and ride it and have a go. And unfortunately, I got hurt. I've been told what happened, but I'd never seen no footage of it. But I do remember all the details of my, what do I want to say? The details of me waking up on the track. How's that? And then from that point on, through all the surgeries and all the whole rest of my year, that was a pretty challenging year. Now I had to refocus because I wasn't going to be a speedway rider again because I was banged up pretty bad. So what did I face at that point? That might be your next question, but who knows? But what I did was I thought, well, I have nothing to lose but focus on getting fit again. That's what I did. And that was my driving force to get myself to be able to walk, to be able to do all the stuff I needed to do. Now, this was, remind you about what I said in the beginning. This is the second time I've been through this major thing. I've been through it when I was 16 till now, till I got on the bike when I was 21 or whatever it was. So from 16 to 21, the doctors already wrote me off that I couldn't do what I wanted to do because I was mangled up before. So I'm thinking, well, I've been here before. Let's just focus on the positive side of things. And I carried on. Yeah.
And you came back so well that in 1990, of course, you won the World Team Cup.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a team effort, and it was nice to be a part of it. And so I think what I remember most about all that was the Americans that we had over here, and our team manager John Scott, which is an English gentleman. That was something that I had to be a part of. We'd have our team meeting before the start of the season when all the boys got into town, and then we collectively planned what we were going to be doing when it comes to test matches in those days, and it comes to world teams events, championships in those days. We all, as Americans, made those decisions as a team on performance. As long as we're performing good, that's the person that goes forward. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have any choices. Nobody was making those choices for us other than us as a team. So that was probably really fun for me, being a part of watching Bobby Schwartz and dictate how it normally works and how it's worked in the past. And now I'm getting familiar that this is a pretty cool place to be in the sport. Now I recognize what the World Championships mean. Now I'm recognizing the commitment and how it works. So to me, that was probably my focus, was the enjoyment of being an international person with an American team. And so that drove me forward from there.
And then, of course, 1991, winning the league with Wolves, a fantastic achievement as well, Sam.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, we might have done it earlier, but I wouldn't have got myself hurt, didn't I? But all the above, yeah. I mean, it's a great memory to be able to pay back, the supporters that supported me through thick and thin through that long track crash, because Chris Van Straten did not have to wait for me, and he did. He kept a spot open. That was business for him. And now that I'm on the end of my kind of time, I see how but I know the choices were probably a little bit different because of the way maybe the business of Speedway and averages might have been, and replacements and all that stuff. But, that was pretty honorable for him to pull me along like that and hold that gap. Maybe there wasn't a choice for him. I don't really know. I wasn't that far into the averages of who does what and what was available and stuff like that. But that was pretty honorable. And for me to be able to pay back the fans and be a part of a winning team. And, we touched a little bit on Birmingham. Oh, obviously that was the top of the show here. I'm talking about Birmingham and, the depth of being at a level in this premiership. Well, I would like to think that I brought a lot of that to Wolverhampton because I had my own my own kind of mechanical industry behind me, because I understood mechanically that if I wanted to be good in this game, I have to build a team of people around me back then, which is kind of common now. All the Grand Prix guys got teams, but my team focus was making sure that I can have a family life at the same time. I have my bikes and my engines and everything working good. So I built workshops to do that. And I shared that with my 1-7s at Wolverhampton. So if we weren't performing as a team because there was a mechanical problem, my guys that worked for me, I'd put them on that case and said, look, we're all right. Go help, Andy Phillips, or help Wayne Carter, or help Jan Steckman. Help them, because we're okay. And if we can get all 7 of us working good, we'll win. Mm-hmm. And that's why and how we stayed at the top, I think, as a team.
Absolutely. Whilst I've got you, Sam, there's one thing I've always wanted to ask you. We raced against Reading in the Gold Cup in '92. Now, my memory of the build-up to that was it was built up as a grudge between yourself and Per Jonsson, because there was a lot of speculation that you and Per didn't get on. Is that true? Because that never really came across to me.
We hated each other.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
No, we were both very competitive. I always say, I use this one, I've used it before. You know what? When we're in the showers after the racing's over, and it happens to be joint showers, we're bare bone naked, and we're both human beings, man. And we talk and laugh about it there. But when we put our helmets on and we put our suits on and all that stuff, we want to win. And he was a focused dude, just like I was, just like Hans was, just like all my other competitors at the time were. You got to have some kind of, I got you one day, you got me the next. That's how it was. Now, because that was probably the most competitive times, that was it for me. That's when I was learning my trade. And if you can just get over that guy, you're a better rider, aren't you? And that's how I proved to myself that I can do it. I can do it, because I do it. And that's it. So if you got my way or I got his way, it's like, personally on the track, you might be yelling under your helmet like, man, that was cold. Why'd you do that? You didn't have to do that. Yeah, you did, because if you didn't do that, I'd pass the bastard. Or the same thing to me. You know what I mean? So that was it. So we have to work hard to do that. And when he got me, the next time I got him, we just go up. But guess what? As soon as we strip down and we're in the dressing room, we're like, hey, dude, that was good. Yeah, I got you back, didn't I? And that's how it was. Yeah, that's exactly how it was.
So, I mean, as I say, everyone knows, of course, about your injury, Sam. But I mean, you look at someone like Per now, and you must think, crikey, I'm so lucky that I never ended up in the situation that Per's in now. Because there's no doubt for me that Per Jonsson would have gone on to win more world championships had he not had the injury.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and
we've spoken about that before, me and him. It's just, we can't really think about that when you're a racer. You just move on and keep going. But yeah, it's unfortunate for anytime somebody has a serious injury, you got to think, man, when I was towards the end of my career, that's what stopped me. I had a bit of an incident in Sweden in '06, and I landed on my head and really hurt my neck. And I actually broke my neck, but no, it wasn't publicized. And I decided I'm done, and I just stopped because I didn't want to be in that position as you just described with Per and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've sort of not got to it yet, but we'll get to it now. The pinnacle of your career, of course, Pocking, 1993, finally winning that World Championship. It would have been, I suppose, it would have been nice really to have won it without all of the controversy that surrounded it with your clash with Hans and then obviously what happened in the rerun. But ultimately, the record books say Sam Ermolenko, World Champion 1993.
Yeah, you're right. I think there's been a lot of things that been thrown against the wall and didn't stick with my career. I look back in 92. I thought 92 was going to be the year I was going to win the World Championship. And if you recall what happened on the event that year in Wrocław,
Threw it down, didn't it?
and right at heat 3, right in my first race. And the referee made strict instructions: if you don't come out, you're excluded. And you have to go out. Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? To me, now, I'm going to tell you a little story, which might have been said before, but I knew straight away, right then and there, the FIM don't give a shit about us. Because there's no way you're going to put a world championship on knowing there's a thundercloud coming behind the grandstands, coming over it when we're on the parade, and it's black as hell there, with thunder coming down, and it's bright and blue. You turn your back, but it's coming your way, and all of a sudden, the green light comes on. You guys got to get on the track 2 minutes. The rain started coming down. It's not safe. You shouldn't do that. It changes the whole world championship. And, yeah, they don't care. They're just putting the damn thing on. So I rebelled against them. I told them all to go get stuffed and did my own thing. So the next year, we're in Pocking, and they were just starting to wanting the riders to come and do their FIM dinners and all that kind of stuff, just to kind of give them the credibility that they're the super studs in the world, and we're just the cards on the table for them to play with whenever we're out there. I rebelled, and it just so happened that my son's birthday was on the world final day. He was into golfing and stuff, and I just said, let's go to this world final. I'll take my family, and we'll go away from all this stuff, and we'll go to a resort and hang out, and that's what we did. If you recall, maybe you don't, but the practice was Friday and the race was Sunday. And they had, and the Saturday night was a Golden Greats or something in Lancashire with all the old riders. If you remember, they were putting that thing on back then. And, we as a team, meaning me and my mechanic at the time, we decided to do our own thing, and we did. And, they didn't prepare the track correctly. They didn't do all the right things. So we had a lot of our own battles on the day. And then unfortunately, as focused as I was and as good as my team could have been, we made mistakes. And, what happened was Hans made a mistake too on a track that was probably pretty difficult in the time, but that's it. And we had that contact. He don't believe he contacted me, but we were at Pocket last year, and Hans and Chris.
He definitely did.
Reunion, and we walked across that thing, and he's telling me, "Oh, this is where you fell down." And I looked at him and said, "Yeah, this is where you knocked me down." And we had our own fight right then and there. I won that one, by the way. and we laughed, and we had a beer afterwards and everything. But that's history now. But the highlight of that year was when we were at Coventry, and I made that start from the outside gate with him inside or whatever it was, and the America won the World Team Cup then. So, that was on his own ground. So to me, I proved that I was the better rider at that time.
There we go, and I think that's probably a good place
to end it. Yeah,
to end it. Thank you so much for coming on, Sam. It's been really, really interesting. Good luck on Thursday.
Thank you.
Yeah, do you know what? I've just got a feeling that things can only get better. So.
Yeah, you know what? If we're on the bottom, I mean, if we unfortunately don't win the next two, we will be on the bottom. But at the same time, I still think there's room for improvement. I just got to give these guys a bit of a chance, and I appreciate you guys, talking about Birmingham, because at the moment that's the highlight of where I'm at right now. Right. The past that I did was great, and that's all history now. But I've got to focus on what we're doing now. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks once again, Sam.
Cheers, Sam. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye. Wow.
Yeah.
He knows how to talk. Well, we knew that, didn't we?
Oh, we do that, yeah. So.
Very interesting conversation that was.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. Even for neutrals, I suppose.
Yeah. I hope so.
Great interview, says Simon Corbett.
I was going to ask him, actually, if he remembers the banner at Bradford that the Wolves fans unveiled.
Which was?
Well, just cut a long story short, we raced, it was 91, and we were very, very close to winning the league. Bradford, I think, were one of the few teams that could still catch us. And the meeting got abandoned after about heat 8 because the track was wet, and the Bradford promotion kicked up a bit of a fuss claiming that Wolves had refused to ride in the meeting because, not said it in as many words, but they sort of insinuated the Wolves had cheated, because I know for a fact that Chris Van Stratton almost took them to court over it.
Mm-hmm.
It really got quite heated. I mean, there was always a little bit of a needle between Wolves and Bradford anyway. But when we went to Bradford for the return match, we'd already won it, and the Wolves fans unveiled a banner on the back straight saying, "Sudden Sam can walk on water, but he can't ride in it." So, happy days.
Brilliant. We've got a few comments we need to get through really quickly because we've got Prediction League, yeah.
We
The
can
essence.
always leave the Prediction League till afterwards if you want and put it online.
Yeah.
Well, the essence of the discussion that's going on is an argument about which produces the best sort of racing slick tracks versus tracks with dirt on, and I would say that actually you've both got it wrong. It's not slick and it's not dirt that produces good racing. It's grip. You can have a slick track that's got grip, as Sam alluded to earlier,
Yeah.
actually, and you can have a lots of dirt on, but if it's loose, you're going to get any grip on. So I think it's grip. And you do need grip, and you need knowledge of the track as well. So, yep, okay. Shall we get on with our prediction league?
Yep, go on then.
We got time. 5
We
minutes.
we haven't got as many matches this year as we did last year.
No, we haven't got too many matches there. So let's go for the first one then tomorrow. Poole against Edinburgh in the first leg of the quarterfinal of the Knockout Cup.
I believe this is down to me, isn't it?
Yep.
That's going to be an interesting match. I will say Poole by 8.
8.
Poole by 12, I'll say.
Okay.
I'll go Paul by 6.
Okay then. You weren't sure then, were you? Okay. Next up, Ipswich against Sheffield on Thursday.
Sheffield. That's going to show up to you, isn't it? Sorry.
Ipswich by 6.
Chris?
Ipswich by 4.
Ipswich by 10.
Okay, also on Thursday, Leicester against Birmingham.
Oh, that's me, isn't
Afraid so.
it? Leicester by 8.
I'd take that.
Would you? Oh, cool. Okay.
I'm going to say Leicester by 8 as well.
Leicester by 10 also.
I mean, to be honest, if we can get it that
Yeah.
8s and 10s, we've turned a bit of a corner, I would feel.
Okay, next up, Oxford against Kings Lynn, also in the Premiership.
Oxford versus Kings Lynn. Up to me. Oxford by 10.
Oxford by 12 also.
I'll go Oxford by 4.
Okay, in the National League on Thursday as well, it's Sheffield against Middlesbrough. Another great name from the past returning, of course.
And it's up to you.
That's what's the matter, isn't it?
Oh, it's up to you.
Yeah, Sheffield by 4, I'll go on that one.
I'll go Sheffield by 10.
I'm not sure what's the Middlesbrough sides.
I think
made up.
they lost the first match by 20. That was at Leicester. So Leicester obviously are stronger. So
Okay, Sheffield by 8.
okay then. Next up on Friday is Edinburgh against Berwick in the BSN series. And Berwick have had a good start to the season.
They have, haven't they?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go Berwick by 4.
Yes. Edinburgh by 6.
I'll go Berwick by 6
Oh,
on that one.
Okay,
Okay,
interesting.
in the quarterfinal of the Knockout Cup on Friday, Glasgow against Oxford.
that's Mike.
Glasgow by 12.
Glasgow by 10.
Glasgow by 6.
6.
Okay,
Just can't
next
make a
up,
decision
also in the quarterfinal of the Knockout Cup, Redcar against Workington. They seem to be racing each other every week at the moment. don't
They've
So
not had a great start, have they?
they've had a terrible start, Redcar. They're really
One of your sort of predictions, wasn't it?
I know, yeah.
And it's up to you.
They're going to. I'll go for Redcar to turn you around at this one. I'll say Redcar by 4.
I'll go Redcar by 10.
I've got to do it, haven't I?
Oh, we're not a draw.
Draw.
Okay. Next up on Saturday, is Berwick against Scunthorpe. That's also in the quarter final.
Oh, I'll go Berwick by 4.
Berwick by 12.
Berwick by 10.
10.
Okay, on Sunday it's Workington against Scunthorpe in the BSN.
It's Mike.
Yep, it is. Workington by 10.
Scunthorpe by 4.
Scunthorpe by 2.
Okay, and last up is Birmingham against Bellevue.
Up to you.
I'll say Birmingham by 4. I thought you'd say that.
I'll go Birmingham by 2. Here we go.
I'm going to say Birmingham by 2.
Yep. And there we go. That completes the fixtures then. So I close your fixtures up.
Good stuff.
So
Where are we all at the moment?
I'll get it up next week, but I forgot to.
Beg your pardon?
I think we're.
I think the only reason he hasn't put it up is actually because you're ahead of him. So
Is that right?
Yes.
And I didn't do anything last
Yeah.
week.
No.
How did that work?
Oh, of course, yeah, I didn't do anything, did I? That's why I missed 1, 2, 3.
It's not no longer in alphabeutical order, is
That's
that?
probably the first time
Yeah.
in 3 years. 4 years,
Yeah,
maybe.
can we stop now?
Yeah, nah, I still want that 100 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. Who's at top? Roughly off the top of your head, is it?
Duncan Pemberton and John Bird, I think, are joint top
right,
at the
okay.
moment on 16. I think might be 16, 17, something like that.
I'm guessing
me-
Simon slowly.
Me and
Slowly, yeah.
Well, me and Simon Corbett are going to have words later. He's predicted Bellevue by 10.
I think he's about. Well, I think he's about 14th overall, but he's. I think he put a post on Facebook earlier saying he's equal 4th, which is a little bit.
I think it's a slowly catching monkey. He likes to lead us all into false pretences, doesn't he? And I'll play properly now.
Yes. Okay.
And there we go. I think we've come to a natural end, haven't we?
It's been a good night.
Yeah, it has been, yeah.
Sam was absolutely spot on. I mean, what I would say to you guys out there, if there's anybody that you would like us to talk to, anybody that you'd like for us to interview, then
Put your suggestions up,
But
and
yeah,
we'll try and make
we'll-
it happen.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's
absolutely.
good, and I'll say now.
yeah, I'm hoping within a couple of weeks. Because have we got a show next week?
Next week, yeah,
Yeah,
but the week
okay.
after I'm on holiday. Yeah.
Okay, so I knew that was coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to try. I'm possibly having a photographer that does speedway photographs at the Brummies coming up to chat with us. So
That'll be interesting.
that'll be different.
Yeah.
Watch this space. On that note, everybody have a great week. Hope your team does really well, unless it's Leicester this week.
Sponsored by.
Oh, do you know, that's really bad we haven't done that. Speedway Star, sponsored by So-Called Studios.
Speedway Star.
Speedway Star. Can't even get the name of our own show right.
Somebody give him some tea.
He turns up late.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a drink, have you say, all opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern.